Without further ado, my co-host and the man that's going to replace me someday, Peter McKee.
Jeez, wow, I didn't know I was gonna be. I'm really not prepared for this tonight. Wow, this is a surprise. So I'm gonna be doing something that I think is a little unique. I picked a selection of reading from my own personal library, and just as a little story behind it, it was actually written by myself and one of my colleagues in my writing workshop class, and it's got a unique sense of humor, and I really hope you guys get it. But just as a disclaimer, I don't think the term "best for last" is really applicable in this situation. And someone in the front, please yell at me if I go too fast. But this is entitled, "It's Raining Cats and Dogs, but Which Do I Step In? Your Pocket Guide to Distinguishing the Two Species." Everybody loves cats and or dogs. There are cat people, dog people, and those who are allergic to one, either, or both. Those who are allergic to one specific species have developed an early and operating understanding of the fundamental differences between the two animals. But one who's not allergic may ask themselves, well, how can I understand the differences between these two species? When looking at the two animals, they're very similar as far as the external factors that make up their being are concerned, and that can make it very difficult to tell the difference. So this pocket guide has been designed to help and make it much easier to distinguish feline from canine. Let's begin with some history. The cat is an animal that's shrouded in mystery. In fact, in ancient Egypt, they were considered guardians to the afterlife, and there was even at one time a god in Egypt with the head of a cat. He has, however, since retired and now makes about 95% pension thanks to Social Security. And so the Egyptian tax coins go to his life of luxury that he now lives. This taking of Egyptian tax money is an act of very experienced guile and stealth and trickery, which is something cats are notorious for. Not much is known about these animals. One theory of cats is very popular among elementary school students studying them, is that cats are actually just all female dogs that have a genetic mutation, which is why there is a common stereotype associated that all cats are female. So I have to ask, has anyone here ever heard of a lion?
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's good. I was a little concerned for a second. The lion is a cat, but it's not domesticated. It's a very fierce predator and a dangerous killing machine. And this is, believe it or not, a trend in almost all of cats. They're natural hunters, and they can see in the dark, which makes them historically successful as assassins. It's important to understand the difference between cats and dogs, because cats are manipulative and evil geniuses. They may grow angry without you knowing, and they're renowned for striking dangerously fast with their very vicious claws. They're very good at being two-faced, and they can very easily project a cuddly facade in order to gain something to their advantage. The cat is a very devious and cunning animal, and they are scientifically proven to be without emotion, meaning that they do not know remorse. Now let's take a look at the dog. When one thinks of a house pet, the most common animals that one ponders upon are the domesticated and formerly feral goldfish, the North American ferret, the canary, and of course, the dog. The dog is believed to be of direct bloodline from Zeus. They're renowned as man's best friend, and it's rumored that they can bring luck and fertility to a household. It's believed that dogs have been around since the time of the dinosaurs, and in fact, they were the superior species at that time, and they had the greatest impact on their environment. However, around 3000 BC, that's when man created the predecessor to the very popular Beggin' Strips dog treats. And ever since, dogs have been very loyal to man as long as man has bacon-flavored dog treats. Dogs are very wise and loyal creatures, and they'll take a bullet or a mauling from a bear for their master. Their IQ scores are very high, and the average SAT score of a dog is upwards of 1,200. However, they don't score very well in the writing section because that cat god cursed them with paws, so they can't really hold a pencil very well. Dogs have also been known to howl at the full moon, and those who dabble in black magic have come up with a method of transforming themselves into special dog-human hybrids at those specified full moons. So, now that we've gotten a little history, it's very clear to see that cats and dogs are different from one another in respect to personality and behavior. So it's therefore very important to be able to understand the difference so that upon first glance, you can know which one you're dealing with and you don't end up dealing business with something more dangerous than you were bargaining for. The primary way that an expert can tell the difference is based on the teeth. Cats have very sharp and large incisor teeth, much like a vampire. And dogs tend to have more evenly spread out teeth, and they don't look nearly as vicious or menacing. Unfortunately, most of these animals do not have teeth, so that method is only applicable in small situations as far as telling the difference. There are other less obvious ways to determine the difference, and we're about to cover those. Something that cats have an advantage over dogs is that they can see color. Dogs have been cursed with color blindness, and they can only see things in shades of gray and grayer. You can use this to your advantage. On a piece of blue construction paper, write a message saying, "Come here, I have a treat for you," but write it in a slightly bluer marker. If the animal approaches you, then it can read your message because it can distinguish the two colors. This, of course, rules out the fact that it's a dog, so if it approaches, you must strike it in the nose to disable it so you can make your escape. If the animal does not approach you, it's either a dog or it could be an litter cat, which is a subspecies of cat that can't read. So if the animal doesn't approach, you've limited the choices. It's either a dog or an litter cat. One method, probably the most, the easiest method to use is to take the life-size dog stuffed animal, which in the preface we mentioned is one of the essential items of the field guide to distinguish the two species. Pull that out of your bag and place it a few feet away from the animal and then scurry to a vantage point. From this vantage point, you'll be able to scope out and see how the animal reacts. There are three possible cases. The first case, and the one you hope for, is that the animal approaches with the tail wagging to and fro. If this happens, it indicates that you are dealing with a dog, and you should retrieve your bacon-flavored treats, as mentioned earlier in the essential items, and offer that as a token of friendship. Your second choice is that the animal approaches with hesitation. If this happens, you know it's a litter cat. Your decoy probably isn't going to make it, but you still have a chance to make an escape. You have a window of opportunity. So do that now. The third and final option is that the animal approaches very fiercely and immediately instigates conflict with the decoy. If this happens, you're in a little trouble. The litter cat knows that you're there and you've angered it. This means you may only have moments of your life remaining. In the last few pages of this guidebook, we left some line paper for you to write your will and your last wishes. So do that, but please write quickly and neatly so we can read it. So, this guidebook has outlined the basic differences between the cat and the dog, ranging from the history of the creature to the physiological and psychological differences that distinguish them. We've also given you 3 tests to help determine the difference. So, if you've made it this far to read the closing section and you're still alive, then you know that you're safe. Do me a favor, and for your own safety, commit the list of essential items to memory. This will make it easier for you to be able to go out into the wild. Don't fall victim to the trickery of the cat. It may look cute, but it really wants to hurt you. So now, when it rains cats and dogs, you know which puddle to step in.
actually makes more sense than a lot of the political speeches I've heard lately.
You know, I always did want to go to school for business, so maybe I should be a politician.
Yes, there you go. Anyway, thank you, Peter. That was enlightening, to say the least.
Entertaining and educational.
And now the end is near. This is a thank you for all of you. Peter, anything you'd like to say before we close? Oh dear.
What's the difference between boogers and broccoli? Hey! Don't take my punchline. Kids won't eat broccoli.